Michelle, the Children's Librarian of the Sheridan County Public Library System, and welcome to another session of Bookmarks. Today I want to share with you a new book called Aucy, and it's by Cynthia Kadohata, and it's illustrated by Marina Braskus. Now, usually we'd say, oh, don't judge a book by the cover, but this kind of indicates there's a pig on the cover, so I bet there's a pig in the story. I wonder if the pig's name is Aucy. Let's take a look. Another pig. And it starts out like this. Chapter 1, Summer. Becca sat in the backyard trying to meditate. She decided that meditation would be her thing, the thing that she was better at anybody else. Even it was even possibly a better meditator. Like, wasn't meditation kind of like something's doing nothing? And how could you get better at that than other people? Regardless, she was going to get very good at it. It was a little noisy to be meditating though. One problem was that every few seconds, Jammer whacked one of his 100 hockey pucks into the goal. Becca didn't understand how he could be so interested in doing the exact same thing. Oops. I know there's a page here. Over and over, like if you did it perfectly one time, why didn't he keep doing it? Bailey was drumming his fingers on the arm of his wheelchair, mouthing words and nodding to an imaginary song playing in his head. Bailey could turn on music in his mind just like other people turn on music on their phones. He also wrote songs, and you weren't allowed to say anything at all to him when he was writing or singing, like now. Casey, sitting right next to Becca, was reading a book about physics. Becca supposed he was a math and science genius. Everyone said so anyway, even though to her he just seemed like Casey. She didn't understand half he said. Nobody did. Becca did feel his arm against hers. Even when he was reading something and completely on his own world, he always did this thing of sitting close to somebody else. He really didn't care who. Mom had brought Becca a special meditation cushion called a zafu. That was soft, but not too soft. It was really pretty with a picture of the moon and the stars, but since her butt was on it, she wasn't sure why it mattered how pretty it was. So she closed her eyes and tried to focus. But the only thing she could think about was a little ache in her heart that seemed to be there like all the time. Becca and her brothers were quadruplets. She was born first on December 26th at 12:01 a.m. Then came Jammer. He was supposedly the quietest baby. Even they had hardly talked to anyone, but because they were all so boring. If you didn't play hockey like he did, then you were boring. He was born at 12:03. Then Casey at 12:05. And that was when Dad passed out, so he didn't see Bailey get born at 12:06. Becca had heard the story of Dad passing out at least 1,000,000 times. Who wouldn't pass out, he liked to say. But Becca couldn't concentrate. She opened her left eye. Bailey was dancing in his wheelchair, a new dance she hadn't seen before. It must have been a good song he was hearing in his head because the dance was really cool. That dance is dope, Casey said, looking up now. It's perfect. It reminds me of a robot. That was a compliment because Casey thought robots were the greatest thing ever, or would be someday. Becca closed her eye again and tried to concentrate, but still couldn't. She hummed her mantra, which was a word or phrase to help you meditate. Hers was simply She'd chosen that one because it was simple and because it supposedly was the vibration of the universe, whatever that meant. She couldn't quite remember at the moment, but anyway, the definition of Om was, it is. I can't concentrate when you're doing that, Jammer snapped. I can't concentrate when you're doing that, she snapped back, and they both returned to what they'd been doing. 11.5 years ago, Becca, Bailey, Jammer, and Casey had been in the intensive care unit for a month. Either Mom, Dad, Grandma, or Grandpa were at the hospital every second. Dad said it might sound weird even though he and Mom weren't allowed to even pick up their quads for the first few days. But that was the most magical time of his life. He and Mom hadn't thought they could have kids at all, and being able to go to the hospital and see those 4 tiny precious creatures, just like a new lease on life, and being on cloud 9, that was the way Dad talked sometimes. I'm going to put this bookmark here in the book because it reminds me that I need to get back to that page and continue reading. It also tells those quads that I'm going to be back, and I want to find out where this pig comes from. And that's the book Aucy by Cynthia Kadohata and illustrated by Mariana Raskin. So I hope you come to the library and check this book out and find out what happens. And thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye.